how are you? Welcome to this special What's On edition of the Good Enough Human show here on Circl8 Radio, when we'll be playing some music and sharing some tips for good stuff to see and do in and around Chester over the coming weeks. Tonight, your hosts are myself, Angela Ferguson, and Paul Crofts.
As we slowly and carefully come out of lockdown restrictions, it's great to see some of our local theatre companies beginning to start rehearsals again, and also to be putting on productions once more after what seems like an age of period without any live theatre. One of our local theatre companies in Chester, Tip Top Productions, are staging their second yard sale this Sunday, the 27th of June, at the Forum Studio Theatre in Chester, as they prepare to leave that venue, which has been their home for the last 14 years. There'll be a chance to pick up a souvenir of shows that Tip Top have staged. Include items up for grabs, include props, furniture, wardrobe, costumes, and other items as well, in return for a donation. And that takes place at the Forum Studio Theatre between 10 and 1 p.m. on Sunday. Staying with Tip Top, they are back at Circl8, the theatre on the hill, for Circl8's outdoor season of events, and they are delighted to be back on Sunday the 15th of August, where they will stage two shows, outdoor shows at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. More tickets have been added, more seats have been added for this event since the lifting of restrictions in Wales, and tickets are now on sale via the Circl8 box office for Tip Top's Summer at the Musicals, which takes place on the 15th of August. More details about that on the Circl8 website. Tip Top are also absolutely delighted that they have secured a slot at the indoor theatre, their first performance on an indoor stage for some time. They will be performing the aptly titled The Show Must Go On at the Anthony Hopkins Theatre at Circl8 from the 27th of October to the 30th of October. And they will be announcing auditions for that very, very shortly. Anyone interested in auditioning for either of the three groups, any of the three groups, the youth group ages 10 to 18, the adult dancing group 18 plus, or the adult vocal group 18 plus, can email Phil Crofts at tiptopproductions.co.uk to register interest initially. And dates for auditions will be announced soon. That's really good news that Tip Top are back up and running, albeit not at their home in Chester, but back at Circl8 and other venues, we are sure, soon as well. That's great news.
That's excellent news. That's really good to see. I mean, I know they've done lots of stuff online throughout lockdown, but it's so exciting, and I'm so happy for them to be going back on the stage, both outdoors and inside Circl8 itself. That's fantastic news. Great. Look forward to seeing some of their work. Excellent. Right, another event with a difference that is coming up this weekend, also on Sunday the 27th of June, is an open garden event organised by Cheshire Wildlife Trust. It's Ashton Grange Open Garden, taking place on Grange Road in Ashton Hayes, and I'll give you the postcode shortly. Apparently it's a chance to chill out, look around, 2.5 acre beautiful gardens, woodlands and a wildflower meadow, which I think you'll agree, Paul, we all need, appreciate and enjoy a bit of a chance to get outside in nature at the moment. It's quite soothing and healing, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing better than being outdoors in the wide open space, and nice and relaxing, hearing the birds and just enjoying nature in all its glory. That sounds a really nice day out, actually, doesn't it? That sounds really super.
Absolutely, absolutely. And apparently, for budding Monty Dons and Rachel de Thames amongst us, there's even a well-stocked plant stall to avail yourself of. So that sounds good if you fancy taking a few souvenirs home to your own garden or balcony or such like. And that is all happening from midday on Sunday, the 27th of June, until 5 p.m. Tickets cost £6. And for more info, info, you can go to CheshireWildlifeTrust.org.uk website. You can call 01948 820 728, or you can email bookings@cheshirewt.org.uk. And if you are looking for how to find your way to Ashton Grange Open Garden, the postcode for the sat-nav is CH38AE. So yes, it's well worth having a look at that. That sounds like a day out with a difference. Oh, and just another little note from Cheshire Wildlife Trust that there won't actually be refreshment sales at the event, but visitors are welcome to bring their own picnics. And you also need to note that toilet facilities will not be available and advanced booking is advised. Okay.
It's been great to hear of some of our local music groups starting rehearsals again, including Chester Male Voice Choir, who recently held their first rehearsal of 2021, staged at Chester Rugby Club as an outdoor rehearsal to stay in line with the current COVID restrictions. They've announced recently that their first concert of 2021 will take place on Saturday, the 18th of September at St Columba's Parish Hall in Glasnewton, as they begin celebrations to mark their 80th anniversary. They will be holding proper indoor rehearsals, they hope, subject to restrictions being lifted early next month. And the choir is currently looking for and to welcome new members along to their regular rehearsals. As part of their 80th anniversary celebrations, the choir will be holding events throughout this year and into 2022, and they've already have lined up a very special 80th anniversary concert which will feature the mighty Foden's Brass Band joining with the choir for a concert that takes place at Chester Cathedral on the 16th of July next year. If you or anyone you know is interested in joining Chester Male Voice Choir, even if you don't have any musical experience, it's always worth going along to have a chat with the guys and perhaps sit in on a rehearsal. And you can contact their chairman, John Walsh, on 07894 509 529, or email john.walsh@chestermalevoice.com. Full details of the choir can be found at chestermalevoice.com.
Okay, one of Chester's newest, if not the newest tourist attraction, Sick to Death, brought to you by Big Heritage, is celebrating some great news. Apparently, in their first month of opening the attraction, they have welcomed around 5,000 people through the doors, which is really, really good, really impressive. It's a history of medicine and public health, and it sounds to me like I don't know whether if you're listening to this now and you've ever watched Horrible Histories with the kids or perhaps enjoyed it yourself. I know that as a parent I've enjoyed watching Horrible Histories myself with my daughters, but it's kind of similar. There's a little bit of an element of gruesome side to plague and pestilence and history and links to Chester, and it's based in the rather gothic surroundings of the medieval church of St Michael's on Bridge Street in Chester. So yeah, it's looking at the story of how medicine has developed over 2,000 years, and there are hands-on and interactive displays. But rather fittingly for these times, they explore plagues, pandemics, the birth of science and the future of medicine. And it's great to see that they've also conducted some sort of trial runs of test tours for schools, including Queenspot High School here in Hambridge in Chester, which is brilliant to see. And Dean Payton, who is the boss of Big Heritage, is very excited with the success of it. It's funded by the Wellcome Trust, and it was kind of based on a pop-up version of Sick to Death, which was in the city's water tower, the historic water tower, in 2015. And it's interesting that we've also seen, as part of Sick to Death, the reappearance of the rather spooky plague doctor in and around the city. So yeah, that's really good news, and we hope that the attraction goes from strength to strength. And equally, they've announced recently, Big Heritage, that they have taken over the Diva Roman experience, and that will apparently provide visitors with 2 attractions in the city plus a Roman walking tour for 1 ticket by the autumn of this year. So all the best to the good folk at Big Heritage, and we will watch their progress with interest. Right, in Chester this week, we have been looking back to our rich and diverse heritage through the annual Chester Heritage Festival, which tends to normally be real life events that you sort of get in the car or go on foot or get the bus to, but obviously this year it's a bit different. Lots of online events, bit blended, some tours, including a tour of part of the Rose, which I wasn't able to go on, but that looked absolutely fascinating. And that is organised by Chester Civic Trust and Cheshire West and Chester Council. And they've been looking at a range of interesting issues this year, ranging from a talk about Chester Workhouse in the Victorian era, which I watched online earlier this week, courtesy of the very talented historian Nick Kevin from Chester-based Inside History magazine. And that was absolutely intriguing. I'm hoping that will still be available for people to listen to. We'll have to double check on that. If it is, we will share it. But for a limited period, there are free digital copies available of Inside History magazine and a pamphlet, an e-pamphlet, all about the history of Chester Workhouse in the Victorian era, and focusing in on the lives of 5 different residents and the tough times that they went through, people from all walks of life. So I don't know about you, Paul, but I love a bit of social history, and the thought that we're learning about what's gone on in our city in years gone by is fascinating.
Absolutely, it really is. Social history is something that's always interested me. I think more than any other sort of thing in sort of historical aspects. It's just, I find it absolutely fascinating how people lived, especially in our city. And it would be wonderful to travel back in time. I think it's sometimes have a little time machine and see what Chester was like back, in a certain era. It's absolutely fascinating. I think it's wonderful. One of the things I did see as part of the festival this year, that the students from Chester University have been working with staff at the Cathedral and learning and conserving some of the books in the Cathedral library, which I think is a wonderful thing for them to be involved with. And I know they've been quite excited from what I've read in the press about getting involved in that. So that's really good to see as part of this hybrid sort of festival that this year is great stuff.
It is, isn't it? And I believe that I've watched a few videos on the Chester Heritage Festival.co.uk website, produced by staff from the History Department and Archaeology Department at the University of Chester, in association with students, looking at all sorts of things like Chester in the Middle Ages, the Viking history of Chester, and again, even something to do with the First World War and soldiers who had links to Chester who perhaps weren't marked at the time, or we might not be aware of. And I think there are some links possibly to do with Overley Cemetery in Hambridge. So absolutely brilliant array of material. So hats off to Chester Civic Trust and Cheshire West and Chester Council for producing this. It's absolutely fascinating. And I think before we move on, we should also mention talented local writer Claire Dudman has put together a play called Brassy, A Life in 21 Monologues, which is an hour-long play featuring a combination of professional and seasoned amateur actors, dramatising his surprising and adventurous life from the point of view of ordinary people who encountered him. So he was described as the greatest railway builder in the world, and he was born just outside Chester in 1805. So that is going to be well worth a watch. It is premiered this evening, 24th of June, on the Chester Heritage Festival website, and then it will be available to view until the end of the festival on the 28th of June at 10:30 p.m. So it's well worth a little look on the Chester Heritage Festival website to find out more. There we go. You're listening to the Good Enough Human Show on Circl8 Radio. Now back to Paul Crofts and I for more information about good stuff to see and do in Chester over the coming weeks.
I was really pleased this week to see that our good friends at Chester Little Theatre are back in action, and they've put out casting calls for not one but two upcoming productions at their theatre in Newtown in Chester. Their first production on the main auditorium stage next season will be Sue Townsend's heartfelt comedy Bizarre and Rummage. And for this production, they are looking for 5 women playing ages from 20s up to middle-aged. And their first studio production of 2021 will be the premiere of a brand new fantasy drama written by the Theatre Club's very own Andy Hutchins. For this production, they are seeking 2 women playing ages 20 to 30 and 60 to 70, respectively. The audition information for this, readings of the plays will take place along with auditions at Chester Little Theatre, and the dates are as follows. So we have Bizarre and Rummage, the play reading itself takes place on Tuesday the 13th of July, with auditions taking place on Thursday the 15th of July, and the show dates Saturday the 9th, Monday the 11th to Saturday the 16th of October. For more information on that one, contact the show's director, Margaret Bennett, at mb.bennett006@gmail.com. The next Dr Cosmos, the readings for that take place on Tuesday the 3rd of August, with auditions being held at the theatre on Thursday the 5th of August. The show dates for this one are the 4th, 5th and 6th of November 2021. And for more details about the next Dr Cosmos, contact the show's director, Lexi Fox, on lexifox90@gmail.com. So that's great news from our good friends at Chester Little Theatre.
Okay, so we cannot let this episode of the Good Enough Human Show go without celebrating and marking a very special award given to a very deserving person from the arts and cultural world of Chester and beyond, none other than our very own Matt Baker, who has been awarded BEM, British Empire Medal, in the Queen's Birthday Honours. So congratulations, Matt.
I was just going to say, it's absolutely fantastic news, and we're all so pleased for Matt that he's been awarded this huge honour for all the work that he does in Chester and around the local area. It is long overdue, I think. So that's really great news for him. We're all so pleased for him.
Oh, it really is. And he's been honoured for the work that he's done and the service to the community and music and the arts through the pandemic as well. And we know, because we interviewed him for an earlier edition of the podcast, how busy he has been keeping spirits up and giving people a focus and something to enjoy and boosting physical and mental health. I'm getting on my soapbox again, aren't I, Paul? But I think the arts have been such an important part of coping through tough times like the pandemic, and people like Matt, we really need them. They're just absolutely crucial, helping people and giving them that wonderful focus and things to look forward to, whether it be online choir meetings, whether it be a socially distanced short film that he's been involved with. So yeah, bravo, Matt Baker. We're so proud of you. Well done. And talking of Matt Baker, he will no doubt be turning his attention in the not too distant future to the 2023 cycle of the Chester Mystery Plays. It's an historic, world famous spectacle that's taken place in Chester for many, many years. And it has been announced also recently that a new director has been appointed, who is John Young from Chester, who's also the director of The Merry Wives of Windsor for Grosvenor Park Open Air Theatre with Storyhouse. So that's wonderful news, and I know that he has worked with Matt in putting together various different projects through lockdown and beyond. So John and Matt have previously worked together, producing a socially distanced musical a lockdown musical, We'll Meet Again, in May 2020, which went viral. And it was filmed in Chester's Garden Quarter, and it celebrated neighbourhood and friendship during the COVID-19 pandemic. It was apparently viewed online more than 400,000 times. And Matt and John have also worked together on the successful Christmas Street film, also set in Chester. So Chester Mystery Plays returns to Chester Cathedral, to the nave, from 28th of June to the 15th of July in 2023. So that's a date for your diaries there. And there will also be auditions held in 2022. And the organisers, as ever, promise that if you audition, there will be a role for you, because it's apparently the largest regularly produced community event in the UK. So yay for Chester Mystery Plays. I'm biased because I was in the last cycle in 2018, but it's such a good experience. I could not recommend it more. If you want to get involved in some shape or form in that, either singing, possibly behind the scenes, or as an actor, I would say go for it. You will not regret it. So for more information, if you go to the Chester Mystery Plays website, and we can share a link for that as well via our social media channels. Okay, as our show draws to a close, we've just a few more things to mention before we go. Over to Chester Cathedral this time, on St Werburgh Street, and there is an exhibition on there at the moment, a really lovely exhibition for all the family, The Tiger Who Came to Tea. And it's a great opportunity for children and adults alike to go along, nice little photo opportunity, and have their photos taken at a recreation of the kitchen from Judith Kerr's classic children's story, which was published in 1968. There's even a life-size tiger. I've been and seen it in the cathedral. It's absolutely beautiful. Really enchanting. And there's a chance to see artwork based on the book there as well. And it's been created by 7 Stories, which is the National Centre for Children's Books, and it's been supported by Arts Council England and the Grosvenor Museum Society. And it's on right now until the 1st of July, with the cathedral open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. And if you will just indulge me in a little mention for a theatre company that I'm involved with, Cestrian Players in Chester. They are getting back on their feet after some online activity over the pandemic, and they're currently doing socially distanced auditions for a new production of The Burial at Thebes by Seamus Heaney. So that promises to be another exciting production by Cestrian Players, so keep an eye out for that one. And for more info on Cestrian Players, you can visit their Twitter and Facebook channels. You're listening to the Good Enough Human Show on Circl8 Radio. I'm Angela Ferguson, and my co-host for this week has been Paul Crofts. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks also to Dr Stephen Kenyon-Owen for the music which brings this podcast to life. And if there's anything you'd like us to cover in future, please do get in touch via our social channels or wearechester@gmail.com. For more information on good stuff to see and do in and around Chester, check out our website, wearechester.co.uk, or we're on the socials. We're on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, and we're often seen on there sharing good stuff to do in Chester and beyond. Okay, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.